me tons of medications. I think when we came to see Dr. Mueller in July, she was on 5 different stomach medications, and this was for chronic gastritis and reflux, which keep her awake many hours at night, crying through many meals, and things like that. But otherwise, I mean, in between that, there's a bright, happy little girl there who is very inquisitive and likes to learn and loves to be with people. But so Dr. Mueller was able to at least begin us on some remedies and told us to stop all those medicines immediately. I did not have the courage to do that with the one seizure drug that she'd been on since she was 8 months old. So we did a gradual withdrawal. And the interesting thing that happened in 95 too, with all the other drugs, she would get better as we would bring her off of those drugs. And the very last seizure that Courtney's had now that we've seen was in August 19th, and it was the last day she had a dose of the Depakote, which was her seizure drug that she'd been on since she was 8 months old. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's their story. But and immediately we have a homebound teacher. She also goes to a public school a couple of days a week. But the teacher, who I think sometimes can be more objective than I can, told me, she said, I have to tell you that I was very skeptic of your choice to take her off the medications. And she said, but I cannot believe the remarkable change because Courtney's much brighter, she's stronger, she's just has more stamina. She's a little tired and fussy right now, but just a little girl. And we just drove 2 hours, almost 2 hours to be here to tell you this story. But even to go horseback riding, she used to get tired and collapse in 30 minutes, and immediately, after 2 weeks or no more than a month on the remedies, her appetite had tripled. She could ride the horses for over an hour and, just really enjoy her life as much as she possibly can. That's pretty much my goal. First of all, it was to find her some comfort and then to make her life as happy as possible and to give her as many opportunities to enjoy her life. And when I first met with Julie and Dr. Mueller, we were there for hours because they wanted to know every detail, and it was such a different experience because they listened to everything I said and then they wanted to know more, and finally I said, well, we just got to go. But it's time that we've been heard. And my words to them when I left there was, thank you for the hope. Thank you for hope. Because then I finally had hope. On our way to see them on our very first visit, we stopped twice because Courtney had 2 really difficult seizures. And we had to stop and lay her on her left side and wait for her to come out of those seizures. And I was at a point of, well, whatever happens, one way or the other, it looks like I'm going to lose her anyway to these seizures. So it was like a roll of the dice, and I was very grateful to have hope, and more than grateful that everything Dr. Mueller has said, she would get stronger, she would become more verbal. Oh, one more real miracle and I'll shut up. But Courtney used to always get deathly sick with a slight cold or flu that other children could battle in 3 days. She would just be wiped out. It would be pneumonia. We would be at home for 3 weeks at a time, force feeding her, working on keeping temperatures down, because the seizures would flare up and become, worse. Often we would see seizures before we would see any of the flu-like symptoms or anything else. But already this fall, she's had 1 bout with the flu and 1 tiny little cold, and in 2 days with the homeopathic remedy, the second day the fevers were gone, and the 3rd day she could have gone back to school, and we got through both of those without any seizures at all. So that's quite a little miracle. I don't know if I can paint that picture for you, but thank you for letting me share.